On October the 23rd, 2077, the bombs fell. You, the sole survivor of Vault 111, have spent over 200 years in cryostasis, only to begin your journey through a post-apocalyptic Massachusetts in search of your spouse, son, and answers. Fallout 4 was developed by Bethesda and released in November 2015, and this hugely popular RPG takes place in a nuclear wasteland filled with unusual characters. But who are these characters? And who are the talented voice actors that bring them to life? Let's meet the voice actors of Fallout 4. The female sole survivor, Courtney Taylor. Voicing a protagonist in a Fallout game was unheard of until Fallout 4. Fallout wanted to facilitate the self-insertion element of the RPG genre, and this change was controversial amongst the pre-established fanbase. The lead designer for Fallout 4 stated that this decision was made to improve the story's emotional impact, giving players a more provocative experience.
Family's precious. The last thing you want to do is drive them away, because you might lose them forever.
Whatever you think about this change, Courtney Taylor, a veteran voice actor in the video game industry who has been performing since 2002, was an excellent choice for the role of female sole survivor. Her most notable credits are as Jack from Mass Effect and Ada Wong in Resident Evil. However, Courtney did not limit herself to video game roles. She has a prolific record of roles in television, primarily animation, film, and live action too. This experience includes various characters in Family Guy and Vampire: The Masquerade, Bloodlines 2. The male sole survivor, Brian T. Delaney. In Fallout 4, the sole survivor can also be male, giving the player more ability to customize the character around themselves.
Family's precious. The last thing you want to do is drive them away, because you might lose them forever.
The voice of the male sole survivor is Brian T. Delaney. Like Courtney, Brian brought a wealth of voice acting experience to the protagonist as a Fallout 4 voice actor, and his fans have even noted a common thread in his ability to pour emotion into characters who have experienced loss. His other roles are balanced between video games and animated TV series. One of his earliest was in World of Warcraft as Shah of Pride. His most recent and notable roles have been for Marvel's What If, where he plays Peter Quinn, and he also voiced Green Lantern in Injustice, the animated series. Preston Garvey, John Gentry. Likely the first faction that the player encounters in Fallout 4, Preston Garvey is both a potential companion and subject of the player, as they can become the general of the Commonwealth Minutemen.
Protect the people at a minute's notice. That was the idea. So I joined up, wanted to make a difference. And I did, but things fell apart.
John Gentry delivers a warm, convincing performance as Preston Garvey in the world of Fallout from the beginning of the game, which helps immerse the player in the world. An excellent choice for the cast of Fallout 4. John is known for his performances in various shorts, such as Fishers of Men, Zero Sight, Bad Call, and Oscar Watch Us. He was also featured in the 2014 TV series Try This Instead. Arthur Maxson, Derek Phillips. Arthur Maxson, a returning character from Fallout 3, is now all grown up after becoming an Elder of the Brotherhood at only age 16. He's one of the primary characters that the player has to contend with on their journey through the game.
This campaign will be costly, and many lives will be lost. But in the end, we will be saving humankind from its worst enemy. Itself.
Derek Phillips breathes life into the staunch, stern, and cold leader of the Brotherhood of Steel, and his acting experience can mainly be seen on stage and in film. He attended Baylor University for a BFA degree in acting, which he used to catapult himself into television and regional stage theater. His first video game role was in 2012, where he played Lord Trevor Pendleton in Dishonored. In the lead-up to his performance in Fallout 4, he played roles in The Last of Us, Life is Strange, and Battlefield Hardline. But Derek's most notable role is his performance in Call of Duty Vanguard, where he plays Wade Jackson. Additionally, Derek also voices Z247, one of the Institute's elite coursers in Fallout 4. Desdemona, Claudia Ann Christian. Desdemona is head of the Railroad Faction, an organization that aims to free sentient synths from the clutches of their creators, the Institute. The player character can become integral to realizing this goal, either by infiltrating the Institute on behalf of the Railroad or by allying with the Minutemen to destroy the Institute entirely.
We make decisions, the best ones we can with the information we have at the time, and then we live with the consequences.
Claudia Ann Christian voices Desdemona and has been acting on stage since she was a child. Once she landed her first TV job in Dallas as a teenager, she never lost momentum and developed a career of 35-plus years. Her role as a Fallout 4 voice actor was likely a consequence of her iconic portrayal of Susan Ivanova in Babylon 5. She is even a published author in science fiction, making her a fitting candidate for this post-apocalyptic sci-fi shooter. Father, Tony Amendola. Sean, also known as Father, is the leader of the Institute. He also has a surprising connection to the player character, as his alias Father was given to him for providing the DNA necessary to produce the third-generation synths. Whilst the Father is the story's primary antagonist, the player can also ally with the Institute.
The Institute. It really is humanity's best hope for the future, no matter what those above ground might think of us.
Playing the primary antagonist of Fallout 4, Tony Amendola brought a wealth of experience to his role as Father. Tony's first role as a video game voice actor was in Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft. From there, he went on to perform in various roles, including Dr. Yusef Salim in Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Khadgar and Odin in World of Warcraft titles, and Jared Hester in Final Fantasy XV. However, most of Tony's roles have been for other mediums, featuring in film and television shows such as Annabelle, Stargate, Dexter, CSI, Zorro, and many more. Kate, Katie Townsend. Kate is a romanceable companion found in the combat zone after clearing it of raiders. She has a tragic past that the player can learn about as the story progresses. As a follower, Kate has a 10 in perception, making her quite the marksman. And she also has a lockpicking ability for the sole survivor to use.
Up to now, I never had anyone I could depend on. Every soul I've met has tried to take advantage of me, or stab me in the back.
Katie Townsend, also known as the Cheeky Scot, found her roots in the theater, like many of the other Fallout 4 voice actors on this list. After performing in some shorts, she landed her first video game role in Call of Duty Black Ops 2, quickly followed by Far Cry 3. Katie continued to book roles in shorts and featured in a few television series before becoming the voice behind Kate. She utilized this experience to deliver a real and endearing vocal tone that made Kate a standout character to players. She even lives up to her voice actress's alias, with plenty of cheeky and sultry lines. After her performance as Kate, Katie also found roles in games such as Mass Effect, Andromeda, Magic: The Gathering Arena, Call of Duty, and the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Codsworth, Stephen Russell. Codsworth is a fan-favorite comedic character who brings some fun to the dark reality of Fallout 4. He was the robot that the sole survivor had as a butler for their home before the Great War. Unlike other companions, he does not severely judge you on your actions, but he does appreciate you being selfless and kind to those you encounter.
I must say, it's good to see you up and about as well. I find your survivability impressive.
Stephen Russell performs a wide assortment of voice roles for both Fallout and Skyrim, and he also plays the later-mentioned Nick Valentine in Fallout 4 too. His first video game performance was as Garrett in Thief: The Dark Project, which launched his career as a voice actor in the games industry. Before this venture, Stephen was a theater actor and playwright. Curie, Sophie Cortina. Curie is a Miss Nanny, similar to Codsworth, who is a Mr. Handy robot. However, Curie is unique in both ability and storyline. Unlike other companions, she acts as an early mid-game tank for the player, but does not gain any more health as the player progresses. Curie is also romanceable if the player chooses to move her AI to a synth body.
I was programmed to respect the laws of the land, but now I find myself quite irked with all this lawlessness. For shame, all you lawbreakers.
Sophie Cortina is the voice of Curie and has a varied career in entertainment. However, she has not dabbled in acting very much, with only a few credited roles, excluding her experience as a Fallout 4 voice actor. These roles were in Protagonista de Novela and Karate Film Cafe. She has also presented for ESPN various times and has interviewed many celebrities on behalf of TV networks. Paladin Dance, Peter D. Jessup. Paladin Dance is a romanceable companion that can accompany the sole survivor on their quests should they join the Brotherhood of Steel. Dance is a gritty, worn, and duty-sworn character. When first accompanying the player, he is fiercely loyal, but more loyal to the Brotherhood, and will ensure that you maintain and act within its ideals and values.
I've been fighting for years, trying to put a stop to this madness. And just when I thought we were getting the upper hand, along come the synths.
Peter D. Jessup voices Paladin Dance and has a wealth of experience in action military-esque roles, both in video games and animation. He has been voice acting since 1995, and you may have heard his voice in major titles such as Mass Effect, Resident Evil, Destiny, Wolfenstein, Halo, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Gears of War, Skyrim, Diablo, and this impressive list goes on. Deacon, Ryan Alosio. Deacon is a synth railroad agent and claims he was one of the first Gen 3s to be liberated, while also admitting that his public history is not entirely true. Deacon tracks shadows and gathers intel. It's claimed that he did so to the sole survivor, which is why he vouches for the player when approaching the railroad. After this, Deacon can then be recruited as a companion should the player join them.
In our little outfit, it's my job to know things. And with everything you've done, it's clear you're capable. A dangerous enemy. And I'm betting a valuable ally.
Ryan Alosio is the Fallout 4 voice actor who provides the character with a practical yet familiar tone and is hard not to like, despite his ambiguous history and nature. This is no surprise, as Ryan is a very experienced actor and voice actor. He took up roles in various television series and shorts before his first video game gig as Shocker in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game, and since then, he has performed in Battlefield Hardline, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Titanfall 2. Dogmeat, River. Dogmeat is the trusty friend that will defend and guide you through thick and thin throughout the world of Fallout 4. You can do no wrong when it comes to Dogmeat, and fans love him for this very reason. Joel and Michelle Burgess were developers for Fallout 3 and 4, and the Fallout voice actor for Dogmeat was actually their own dog, River. Unfortunately, River passed away in June 2021, as announced by Joel Burgess on Twitter. River did such a great job on Fallout 4 that she even won an award for Best Video Game Dog. John Hancock, Danny Chirago. John Hancock is the mayor of Goodneighbor. Upon first meeting him, he appears to be a rather sinister character. But John has good intentions. He was betrayed by and consequently estranged from his older brother, Mayor McDonough of Diamond City, when McDonough ran an anti-ghoul campaign. Hancock is a gritty character. After fleeing to Goodneighbor with some ghouls he saved from the carnage, he chose to become a ghoul, using an experimental radioactive drug. He later assumed the persona of John Hancock, discarding his McDonough surname. Hancock then started a revolution in Goodneighbor, ousting the mob boss Vic and cementing his place as the new mayor.
Everyone's welcome in Goodneighbor. I don't care if you're a synth, ghoul, or even a super mutant, so long as you play nice.
Danny Chirago has a diverse career, but most of his voiceover experience is in other video games. The Fallout 4 voice actor uses his low and gravelly rasp to give off an impression of quiet and controlled power, a style he has plenty of experience with throughout his career. You may recognize Danny's voice from titles such as Red Dead Redemption, Deadly Premonition, Rock Band, Guitar Hero, and Armored Core. Robert McCready, Matthew Mercer. Robert McCready, also known as RJ, is a character that features in both Fallout 3 and 4, but now he's all grown up and has experienced a rather tragic tale since we last met him. RJ has changed from the rowdy kid we once knew into a reserved and tactful individual, offering plenty of sarcasm should the sole survivor choose to help him and enlist him as a companion.
I'm just getting tired of taking instead of giving. Maybe one day I'll learn to get my priorities straight.
The voice that illuminates McCready is the household name Matthew Mercer, who also voices Z-114 in Fallout 4. Despite the similarity in names, McCready's character is quite unlike that of the husky McCree from Overwatch, another popular role in Matthew's career. You might also recognize his voice as Anarchy in Batman: Arkham Origins, Leon Kennedy in Resident Evil: Damnation, and Minsk in Baldur's Gate 3. Nick Valentine, Stephen Russell. Nick Valentine is a synth who operates as a private detective. First introduced in Diamond City, Nick refers to himself as the synth prototype, and it's speculated through lore and dialogue that Nick was taken advantage of by the Commonwealth Institute of Technology. Rather than helping him, they used his brain to create the first synth.
Single test chamber was my whole world for years, and someone was always watching. Then one day you wake up on the other side, and that's it.
Stephen Russell uses his voice to give Nick a friendly, considerate, and steady voice, and he has also appeared in other games, such as the announcer in System Shock 2, Mercer Frey in Skyrim, and Dr. Sylvian Bellamy in Prey. Piper Wright, Courtney Ford. Piper Wright is an investigative journalist who runs her own newspaper in Diamond City, Public Occurrences, with her sister. She's a charismatic character, so it is no surprise that she grants the player the Gift of Gab perk.
It's meant a lot to me. Not a lot of people want to hang around with the nosy reporter.
Courtney Ford's performance as Piper Wright was well at home for her, given her experience as an actress. She is familiar with comedic and dramatic roles, and Piper strikes this balance as a character in the world of Fallout 4. Courtney is a successful actress who has appeared in many television shows before giving her voice to Piper, such as Dexter, True Blood, and How I Met Your Mother. She was no newbie to video game roles either, as her first performance in the industry was Maria in Gears of War 2. Strong, Sean Schemmel. Strong is, as one would expect, strong. He is a super mutant who seeks the milk of human kindness. As strange as that sounds, it is nothing to worry about, as he believes this is secret milk humans drink to make them stronger. He got the idea from Rex Goodman after misunderstanding the teachings of Shakespeare's Macbeth. Strong is unsurprisingly proficient with heavy and melee weapons, such as missile launchers, miniguns, and the super sledge.
Strong come here with brothers once. Made a group of humans. Long time ago.
Strong's brutish, gravelly warmth is voiced by Sean Schemmel, who also plays Ham and Mark Wilson in the game. Schemmel is a veteran of the voiceover industry who has predominantly performed in animation and video game character roles for media such as Goku in Dragon Ball Z, multiple characters in Pokemon, and Gaston in Berserk. His first credited role was in Armored Trooper. X688, David Palak. Although X688 is himself a synth, his job is to hunt runaway synths for the Institute. He can also be recruited as a companion, but this choice is often better off being reserved for players who choose to side with the Institute, as X688 will often be hostile to any other factions that the sole survivor aligns with.
Our intelligence indicates that you have a strong sense of duty. This is the most important duty you will ever undertake.
X688's robotic and animated nature is provided by David Palak, who is known for his militaristic roles in shows such as SWAT, NCIS, and Ordinary Joe. His performance as X688 is his only video game role to date. Ada, Rachel Robinson. Ada is a programmed Assaultron heavily modified by a merchant named Jackson. Unfortunately, Jackson is deceased by the time the sole survivor arrives at his caravan. Ada can be saved from the mechanists attacking her, which then opens a quest to stop them once and for all.
I'm not sure why you want the head back. All we needed was its radar beacon. Besides, robo-brains are notorious for being, well, a real pain in the neck.
Ada's voice is brought to us by Rachel Robinson, who also voices the female robot companions that can be constructed at workbenches in the game. Rachel has been in voice acting since 1992, starting with the English dub of the anime Sailor Moon, in which she played multiple characters. She has notably also performed in Final Fantasy XIII, Guild Wars 2, Hearthstone, Tokyo Ghoul, Hellsing, and StarCraft 2. Automatron, Taliesin Jaffe. Automatrons are craftable companions that the sole survivor can use to aid in their quest.
Very well. Disabling personality subroutine and restoring factory default mode.
Taliesin Jaffe gives the male automatron its classically robotic voice. Taliesin has been performing since he was a kid, first appearing as a child actor in Mr. Mum in 1983. He has played roles in a myriad of popular games, such as Red Dead Redemption 2, Spider-Man, and Street Fighter V. His most notable credit is for his place in Critical Role, the widely popular D&D show with other successful voice actors. The show has now even got its own animated version for one of the campaigns, The Legend of Vox Machina. Old Longfellow, Jim Ward. Old Longfellow is a hardy, gritty survivor who is considered a legend by the residents of Far Harbor for his ability to guide people through the fog. His long and hard life has left him embittered and cynical. The ones who draw the most of his ire are the Children of Adam, a religious group that worships radiation. By all accounts, the Children of Adam took his potential family away from him after they attacked him and his partner Hannah, abducting her and converting her to the beliefs of Adam. She was then exposed to radiation, leading to the loss of their child. Later, Hannah encountered the hostile faction of madmen known as the Trappers and died of her wounds.
You've been different lately. I'm just wondering what's going on with you. What I mean is, we've had a good run, you and I thought I knew what kind of a person you were.
This gritty, cynical, and wise man is voiced by Jim Ward, an award-winning veteran of the industry, predominantly known for his role as Captain Quark from Ratchet & Clank. He has been featured in an array of popular animated television shows and video games since 1976, such as Red Dead Redemption 2, Prey, Fairly Odd Parents, and The Elder Scrolls Online. Porter Gage, Mark Ralston. After years of witnessing his parents give in to Raider demands, Porter Gage ran away from home at age 12, promising he wouldn't become like them. He took mercenary and caravan work for the years following, and he saw more of what he sought to escape: people giving in to the Raiders. At 16 years old, Porter grew sick of fleeing, so he decided to become one instead. He grew up with violence and gang culture, and by the time the sole survivor encounters him in Nuka World, he is rough and stern, but oddly charming.
Tell me about it. I thought he had what it took, so I helped arrange this whole deal. Didn't work out. But now that you're here, we got a second shot.
Porter Gage's voice actor is Mark Ralston, who oozes confidence and experience. Mark has a wealth of experience in live action, notably playing characters in Alien, Rush Hour, The Shawshank Redemption, and Saw. He also has plenty of video game experience, voicing characters such as Norman Osborn in Spider-Man, Deathstroke in LEGO DC Supervillains, Slade Wilson in Batman Arkham Knight, and Cole in Turok. So now you know the incredibly talented voice actors of Fallout 4, and where you might recognize their voices from. Were you surprised to discover the other roles of anyone on this list? Let us know in the comments. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss our future videos. See you next time!